Hello friends, welcome to our channel Study Options. Today's subject is history and the topic is about the Russian Revolution. In one of the least industrialized of European states, this situation was reversed. Socialized took over the government in Russia through the October Revolution of 1917, the fall of monarchy in February 1917, and the event of October are normally called the Russian Revolution. How did this come about? What were the social and political conditions in Russia when the revolution occurred? To answer these questions, let us look at Russia a few years before the revolution. The Russian Empire in 1914. In 1914, Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia and its empire besides the territory around Moscow. The Russia Empire included current day Finland, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, part of Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus. It stretched to the Pacific and comprised today's Central Asian states as well as Georgia, Armenia, and Azerbaijan. The majority religion was Russian Orthodox Christianity, which had grown out of the Greek Orthodox Church, but the empire also included Catholic, Protestant, Muslim, and Buddhist. Economy and society. At the beginning of the 20th century, the vast majority of Russia's people were agriculturists. About 85% of the Russian Empire's population earned their living from agriculture. This proportion was higher than in most European countries. For instance, in France and Germany, the proportion was between 40% and 50%. In the empire, cultivators produced for the market as well as for their own needs, and Russia was a major exporter of grain. Industry was found in pockets. Prominent industrial areas were St. Petersburg and Moscow. Craftsmen undertook much over the production, but large factories existed alongside craft workshops. Many factories were set up in the 1890s when Russia railway network was extended and foreign investment in industry increased. Coal production doubled and iron and steel output quadrupled by the 1900s. In some areas, factory workers and craftsmen were almost equal in number. Most industry was the private property of industrialized. Government supervised large factories to ensure minimum wages and limited hours of work, but factory inspectors could not prevent rule being broken. In craft unit and small workshops, the working day was sometimes 15 hours, compared with 10 or 12 hours in factories. Accommodation varied from rooms to dormitories. Workers were divided social group. Some had strong link with the villages from which they came. Others had settled in cities permanently. Workers were divided by skill. A metal worker of St. Petersburg recalled metal workers considered themselves aristocrats among other workers. Their occupations demanded more training and skill. Women made up 31% of the factory labor force by 1914, but they were paid less than men, between half and three quarter of men wages. Division among workers showed themselves in dress and manners too. Some workers formed associations to help members in times of unemployment or financial hardship, but such associations were few. Despite divisions, workers did unite to strike work, mean to say stop work. when they disagreed with employers about dismissals or work conditions. These strikes took place frequently in the textile industry during 1896 to 1897 and in the metal industry during 1902. In the countryside, peasants cultivated most of the land, but the mobility, the crown, and the Orthodox Church owned large properties. Like workers, peasants two were divided. They were also deeply religious, but except in a few cases they had no respect for the nobility. Nobles got their power and position through their service to the Tsar, not through local popularity. This was unlike France where, during the French Revolution in Brittany, peasants respected nobles and fought for them. In Russia, peasants wanted the land of the nobles to be given to them. Frequently, they refused to pay rent and even murdered landlord. In 1902, this occurred on a large scale in South Russia. In 1902, this occurred on a large scale in South Asia, and in 1905, such incident took place all over Russia. Russian peasants were different from other European peasants in another way. They pooled their land together periodically, and their commune divided it according to the need of individual families. Socialism in Russia. All political parties were illegal in Russia before 1914. The Russian Social Democratic Worker Party were founded was founded in 1898 by socialists who respected Marx's ideas. However, because of government policing, it had to operate as an illegal organization. It set up a newspaper, mobilized workers, and organized strikes. Some Russian socialists felt that the Russian peasant custom of dividing land periodically made them natural socialists. So peasant not worker peasant not worker would be the main force of the revolution, and the Russia could become socialist more quickly than the other countries. Socialists were active in the countryside through the late 19th century. They formed the Socialist Revolutionary Party in 1900. This party struggled for peasant rights and demanded that land belonging to noble be transferred to peasant. Social Democrats disagreed with socialist revolutionaries about peasant. Lenin felt that peasants were not one united group. Some were poor and others rich. Some worked as laborers while others were capitalists who employed workers. Given this differentiation within them, they could not all be part of socialist movement. The party was divided over the strategy of organization. Vladimir Lenin, who led the Bolshevik group, thought that in a repressive society like Tsarist Russia, the party should be disciplined and should control the number and quality of its members. Other Mensheviks thought that the party should be open to all, as in Germany.